Kyrie's just standing there. Lights started coming down, and it's kind of rebuilding the island around her. But then, like, it's kind of like breaking away from the section of where they were with the door to Kingdom Hearts.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like breaking, like Sora runs out to her and it's like, Kyrie, remember what you said? Like, remember what you said about us being connected through our hearts? Well, I know we are, and I'll be back to you, I promise. And she goes, I know you will. And their hands slip. It breaks away.
And then, the theme song from the game starts to play, and
it's like so sad. The lights start coming down, rebuilding.
And like you see Destiny Islands form, and trees pop out of the ground, like they got a boner or whatever.
And she's just like standing there, still holding out her hand, and Sora's doing the same, hoping to grab those titties. He's like groping at the air.
Next time.
And then they go over to this like green fields area where Goofy and Donald are in their original clothing from their TV shows. And Sora's there with his hands behind his head, walking all cool like. It's like, so where do you think Riku and King Mickey are? It's like, they're in the realm of darkness. We can't really get there. But they said that, King Mickey even said once that wherever there is darkness, there's always a door of light. And so I just wonder where we're gonna be looking. Then they see Pluto. He comes up.
Yeah,
and
where the fuck have you been?
I know, he disappears, and he just like pops up out of the randomest places. And he has a letter in his mouth, and it has the king's insignia, and it's like, that must be from the king. And so they run after Pluto. He's running away from them. For some strange reason, Donald is running like as though he's carrying his staff. He has his arm up in the air, and he's like, ha, 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 ha. Haven't you ever noticed that?
Yeah, I've noticed that.
And Goofy's running normal-like. He's not holding his shield. He's running normal-like, and so is Sora. So it's like, why is he doing ha 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 like as though he's holding his staff? It's so weird.
I don't know. It's Donald.
And then the camera pans upwards, and you look at the sky, and the credits.
Yep,
and that's the end of Kingdom Hearts 1.
Pretty much, Kingdom Hearts.
But that's only the first game.
Yeah, that was only a 2-hour thing there.
Yep. So, next game, which is, dare I say it?
Oh, fuck this game.
Chain of Memories.
Chain of Memories, no.
And there are millions of reasons why we hate this game, which is why we're not going to stay on this as long as we did for Kingdom Hearts 1. We stayed on here for like a good 2 hours for that one game. Anyway. That,
well, of course, Chain of Memories takes place pretty much the very next day.
I'm going to let you explain this one because I've talked my throat dry.
Okay, cool. Well, anyways, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. Of course, we'll start the night. It's either the night of after the first game or another day. I don't know. But anyways, they're all out. It's nighttime. They're all in the field sleeping. Like Sora wakes up and then he sees a guy, all dressed up in black in this coat or whatever, and so he starts following this guy. And this ends up leading them to this castle, and we'll find out known as the Castle of Oblivion. And, we walk in here, and, of course I got this on the Game Boy Advance and the PS2, but, you end up seeing the guy there, and he ends up sending you, I guess, you go for the next door, as soon as you enter the castle, and you're back in Traverse Town, and you're like, what the hell is going on? And here, this is, the beginning of this is pretty much the tutorial, but this, well, you'll find out this is going to be the worst battle system ever planned out, because, we don't get to use, you don't really have Sora or Donald to help you. Really? You can get them to help you, but you have to do it in a way of the cards. So
Heart of
now
the
we're
cards,
playing
guide me.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
It's Yu-Gi-Oh all over again.
Because you're really summoning Donald and Goofy.
They
But
turn into summons, like legit summons. You kind of like how
but
Simba
really,
did.
like they'll come out. But like someone like Donald, he might do an attack like fire or blizzard, and then he'll disappear.
It's so stupid.
It is, and Goofy might he may charge into a few of them and then disappear.
It is so stupid.
But and of course, you'll go for the game, and you pretty much go for like the same worlds that you did from the first game.
But it's a bit more broken up in a sense.
Right, because you're like each different world is like a different floor of the castle. And the thing, here's the trick of Castle Oblivion: the further you go up, the more memories you start to lose from your past journey.
I forget the quote, but I believe it's something like, "The further you go, the more you lose."
Yeah,
or,
something like that.
The more you go back, the more you gain.
And, but like, and of course, like each time you go for a different world, you enter like the new hall of the castle, I guess you could call it, the next floor up. But
Yep.
and this is where you meet more people in the black coats or whatever.
And you slowly find out that they're part of this organization 13.
Right. And of course you meet like one of my cool organization members, Axel.
Woo!
I couldn't, to be honest, I couldn't really care less about any of the other members that were in Castle Oblivion. Axel was like the only cool one there.
The only one I really cared about was Lexius, the guy with the axe sword. He was pretty badass.
Yeah,
opinion.
he was pretty cool. But like when you would go into these halls, you would either fight like a member of the organization, or you would fight like the dark version of Riku,
Which
or something like that.
is, with this battle system, it kind of killed the excitement of this, because the game itself is actually pretty creative, and it's enjoyable to play.
Right, like the story is pretty good and all, but like when you get to move with things like card systems, and you want to like really plan out your card systems, because there's a point where you can run out, and then it gets really stupid after that.
You have to recharge a certain card at the beginning of your deck to create all your stuff to get your cards back. But once you do that, it's gonna take twice as long to get your cards back if you lose them all again. Which I hate, because I tank. I completely tank.
But then you like, how does that go? Like, Castle Oblivion, you find out about this girl that the organization has, Nominee.
Pretty
now,
cute.
Is she the one that's erasing the old memories from Sora?
You find out as you slowly go up, and you realize that you lose the memories from your adventure from the first game. Remember when you used to grope for Kyrie's titties? Well, for some reason you can't remember that now.
And then like Kyrie, yeah, but like Kyrie, there's like a part where they can't remember certain things from the first game, and like Kyrie then becomes the girl known as Nominee. Like Sora forgets who Kyrie is, and now Nominee's the new girl we gotta try to save.
And he kind of gets obsessed with her, kind of in the same fashion as in Kyrie's story.
Exactly, and but eventually you get through all the same stuff you go through, blah 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 blah.
And this is technically a remix of the original game, and it came out for Game Boy and PlayStation. PlayStation got a remix.
I like the PS2 one. I mean, I wish they could have gone back and got Sora's voice actor from KH1, because he hasn't matured yet. If you know what I mean.
I know what you mean, and it's really weird.
I mean, I like Kingdom Hearts 2's voice over Kingdom Hearts 1's voice, but
it doesn't fit, in my opinion, because he comes back for KH2, and technically, isn't he still, like, I don't know, the same age in Chain of Memories? He hasn't really grown up much.
I think between Chain of Memories and Kingdom Hearts 2, there's been a whole year or something. But
it's a whole year.
I wouldn't think a whole year would change your voice that much.
He's been asleep. It gets groggy after a while. That's my theory.
But yeah, you pretty much, when you make your way to the top of castle or whatever, you do meet up with Naminé, and she says like she's sorry, but she can bring your old memories back if you want them. And of course, like Sora's like, oh yeah, of course. And so then at the end, Sora, Donald, and Goofy will go to Nighty Night Land for like
they
a year.
Have to fight Merlimix, which he is a troll.
Oh yeah, that happens too. But
he's actually a pretty good boss to fight. I like his idea. It's just the card system.
Yeah, like Chain of Memories would have been a much better game if they didn't do the card system.
Which I kind of want them to do a remix where they like recreate the card system to a point where like you kind of use the idea, but not the way they've used it.
Right.
Or just take it out completely.
Well, I'm just glad that they didn't bring back the card system for future games.
Oh my god. Can you think of KH2 playing with the card system?
If it wasn't for Kingdom Hearts 2, and Chain of Memories would have been my last Kingdom Hearts game, really.
I came afterwards, so I never had to deal with KH Chain of Memories. But when I played it my first time, I hated it. Like,
I know.
Hate. I could not stand to go another world. I just watched playthroughs to find out what happened.
Exactly. Like, see, the thing with the Game Boy Advance version, you only really dealt with like 16 bits, really. So there wasn't much of a three-dimensional battlefield there. Mm-hmm. But with the PS2 version, we kind of got 360-degree angles. But the thing is, either way, it's still the same battle format.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much Chain of Memories, really.
Yeah, man. Then you go up there to the top of the tower. Naminé says, if you go to sleep for an entire year, I'll get your memories back. And Sora, Donald, and Goofy say, okay, let's do it. And they go into these pods, and they go to sleep for an entire year. Simultaneously, while Chain of Memories is going on, by the storyline of the game, Days is going on, which personally is one of my favorite Kingdom Hearts games because it features the organization to the maximum troll.
Right. Well, let's hold Days for a minute because let's go ahead and cover Kingdom Hearts 2, and then
technically Days happened before.
True.
But we are going
release date wise, Kingdom Hearts 2 would be the next. We'll get more into the story towards the end of this, but
I'm just gonna point out the first part. When you first start off KH2, it kind of by storyline of the games, it starts off at like literally a day after Days happens.
Right.
And you first start off this tutorial with Roxas.
See, at the time, because with Kingdom Hearts 2 being the third game that came out in the series, people would put in Kingdom Hearts 2 because they're like all excited because we got rid of that shit from Chain of Memories. Mm-hmm. But like, who's this guy? Who's Roxas? Like, where's Sora?
First off, I honestly liked Roxas better than Sora. He's pretty badass, to be quite honest. He's not a disappointment. He's actually an improvement.
But then, like, you find out like the whole time you play as Roxas, that was the tutorial.
You're like, oh my gosh.
And that tutorial, I think the last time I played for Kingdom Hearts 2, that tutorial went like 3 hours long.
It's the longest tutorial, like, in my opinion. Seems like be way too long for a tutorial.
Right, because you're now in Twilight Town, well, Roxas' hometown with his friends, Heinous, Olette, and Pence.
Hayner.
Remember Pence? He's gonna scare you when you see his face.
Little picture of Tata.
But
Pence is inside the stripper's asshole.